Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Thank you for being here. My name is Andrew, coming to you from the beautiful Carolinas. Today's topic is going to be what the narcissist saw in you. Think about that for a minute. Everyone, if you like the content, please like, subscribe, and share. So the narcissist certainly saw something in you, and you could not see it in yourself back then, most likely. The narcissist is opportunistic, and what they want to do is take from unsuspecting people or people who haven't broken the trauma bond, or people who don't know what narcissism is. This is how the cycle goes around and around. The narcissistic abusive cycle continues in a loop, and there is one constant in that loop. It's the narcissist. This is why they can trade in and out of relationships so effortlessly, so easily, as if they don't care. Because the narcissist flat out doesn't care. They don't care about anybody on the planet other than themselves. But what the narcissist saw in you, they looked at you and they figured out what made you tick, what made you you. Were you an empath? Did you have a lot of money? Did you have a big network of friends? Were you ingratiated or ingrained in the community? Did people respect you? Did people look up to you? Did people want to be you? They also looked at you and said, what are your relationships that you currently have? Maybe with your siblings, you came from a very strong and healthy, stable background, the family setting. Maybe you were divorced, and maybe you had a great relationship with your kids, and the narcissist saw this. Maybe the narcissist was looking at your hobby groups and your beach houses and the way you walked, the way you talked, and the way you could effortlessly just communicate with people because you didn't have to try. You were just in the flow state back then. The narcissist saw these things and so many more in you. Now remember, before you met the narcissist, you did not know that narcissism was prevalent on the planet. You certainly didn't think it would affect you for a period of time, which was the length of the relationship. You were believing that most people had your best interest at heart. I can almost assure you, you also were believing that people wanted to, what they told you, that they would keep their word. In other words, their actions would match their words. We now know that none of those things are true when it comes to narcissism. The narcissist will say anything they can when they're trying to enter the relationship, when they're in the relationship, and certainly post-relationship at times. They will paint the narrative any way they want to. That is why when you've identified that perhaps you are and or were in a relationship with a toxic narcissistic person, I strongly suggest you block them, you delete them, go no contact, remove them and all flying monkeys and people associated with them, if not now, when? Now, sometimes people are saying, like, that's a little rough, Andrew. It's not. If you want to preserve your sanity, if you want to preserve your health, if you want to preserve your resources and your relationships and your time and your energy and your money and empathy and love and your belief in humanity, you will take those wise words I shared with you a moment ago. But if you can't do that currently, utilize gray rock, become dull and boring, and get off the radar of the narcissist. And again, if you can't do either, try to create an exit plan. In other words, look at a time frame when you believe you could remove yourself from that relationship, because the narcissist will only get worse over time. The relationship that you were a part of, it naturally deteriorated over time because you were the glue that was keeping the relationship together, and the narcissist knew that. That's why they were pressing on that gas pedal of abuse. That's why they were dropping you in the deep end of manipulation. And it's not just the relationship you had with the narcissist that breaks. It's every relationship they enter, including with their own children, their own parents, former romantic interests, business associates, colleagues, people in hobby groups and communities and organizations that are part of religious organizations, because the narcissist is always in competition. They were in competition with you, and they are in competition with many people right now as I create this video and you consume it. But think about what the narcissist saw in you. Think about how naive you were and how you did not believe that another person could actually do what they did to you. But yet that was a cycle, that was a pattern. You just didn't know about it. When you met the narcissist, they probably told you a false report or false narrative about their past relationships. Example, let's say that the narcissist you met was married twice. Well, maybe they said, yeah, husband or wife, number 1 and 2, they weren't there. They didn't support the kids. They didn't lift a finger to clean the house. They did nothing. They sat around all day and played Xbox or whatever. Well, the truth of the matter is both of those spouses were probably stable and healthy people. We don't know that for a fact, but remember, when the person the narcissist was in the relationship with in the past is not present, you don't know what to believe, because the narcissist can paint the narrative any which way they want to. That is how they go on from person to person, city to city, relationship to relationship, blowing up everything that they encounter, leaving a wake of destruction in their path. And this is why they don't care about people, because once they get what they want from somebody, They don't want it any longer. What they want to do is control people. Think about the narcissist. Think of them as a petulant child. They get a new toy for their birthday or something. Well, what do? They play with it for a period of time, but then they get jaded and bored, and they want another new toy. And then they get jaded and bored, and another new toy, and another, and another. And that's what the narcissist wants as well, because they want the next new shiny object. They want to appear as if they are one person when in fact they're somebody completely different, and they will do anything they can, which means they will wear any mask they can to manipulate another unsuspecting source of supply into their web of manipulation. Or they can recycle people as well, meaning if the person hasn't healed and haven't gone no contact, etc., or maybe they just didn't figure out what narcissism is yet. If they haven't, then they are susceptible to accepting a Hoover. Remember, do not accept a Hoover. Don't accept a Hoover today, tomorrow, or in the future. A Hoover will only set you back, and it will only let the narcissist know that you are not strong enough and that they can manipulate you again and take even more from you. Because the narcissist at their core, they are nothing but an energy vampire. They're nothing but a shapeshifter. They're a black, dark energy source that wants to consume beautiful, bright, shining lights like you. And they want to try and extinguish us, and I do mean that. Thing is, they didn't extinguish us because we're here in the community and we're paying it forward and we're getting our cup full and we're healing, we're learning, we're growing, we're teaching, we're becoming awakened and aware, educated and empowered, and we understand that that relationship almost took us down for the count, but it didn't, and here we are. Now, what the narcissist saw in you, let's say this. Let's say the narcissist was looking to have a roof over their head. Okay, well, they probably were worming their way into your life saying, hey, I'll just pay half the rent, and all you have to do is stay with me, and next thing you know, I'll split the bills with you 50-50. Well, did that actually happen? It probably happened for a month or two. And then after you were moved in with the narcissist and you were splitting rent and the bills and everything, well, then the narcissist would claim that they did not have money, or their job was too tough, or they had to send money back to their mom or their dad. And they would slowly remove themselves from paying the bills. Next thing you know, you were stuck there holding the bag. And when you're holding the bag, the weight of that burden of paying all the bills was on your shoulders. And was it not only on your shoulders, but the narcissist was sitting back there with a smirk on their face, watching you try to pay their way through life. Now, that was only sustainable for a period of time. I can't tell you how long you may or may not have done that, but what I can tell you is while your finances were being depleted and you are continuing to work for the narcissist was looking for your replacement. They were looking for the new apartment to go live in with another unsuspecting person. And when, let's say, using that example, let's say they did discard you. Well, they probably would have discarded you when you put up a boundary and said, hey, we agreed to pay the rent here 50-50 for the 1-year lease, but you only paid 2 months worth, and it's now 10 months in, and where are you? What's going on? Then they would probably say something like this. Well, what's the big deal? You make more money than me. I can't believe you would say that. I never agreed to that. And then what would they do? Possibly discard you because they realized that your resources were becoming depleted, and they had groomed a new source of supply which they could springboard onto, and then you were left holding the bag. So essentially you paid 10 months of rent, food, groceries, water, electricity, internet, and everything, while they just leached and they couch surfed on your dime. That's an example, but I hear it frequently. So the narcissist there, what they saw in you is a way to take advantage of a person. Because when you put your name on the lease and they agreed that they would pay you, even though their name wasn't on the lease, you were stuck holding the bag. Other ways the narcissist, what the narcissist saw in you is raising children. Let's say the narcissist already had a couple kids, and let's say that they were on their own, single parent. You met them, and then they played the victim card. Yeah, spouse number one who's no longer with us. They were such a not good person. They weren't around for the kids. They didn't even do anything. Maybe they just dropped off presents here and there once a year or something, but they were a toxic person. Well, what would happen? You were trying to be the white knight in shining armor. You were thinking, wow, you fell in love with this person, and you were thinking, wow, I can actually step in there and be a good person, and I can help raise the kids and pay bills, and this person's in love with me and I'm in love with them, and we will live happily ever after. That's not what happens, and it's not what happened. What happens is the narcissist knew that they had their dirty fangs sunken into you, and they said to themselves, yep, I have a live one here. This one is going to help me raise the kids, or essentially raise the kids until they're high school age or maybe even university age. Then I will build up my business behind the scenes, and I will discard them maybe a couple days before one of their favorite holidays, and I'll go on to the new supply, but I'll play the victim card the whole time. You see, that's what the narcissist sees in people. They see opportunities in people. They see people as weak and frail, and they see people as giving to a fault, and they see people as people pleasers. They see people as nice people, meaning, yeah, you're a nice guy, you're a nice girl. Well, you can be a nice person and have boundaries. That's what we're learning now in the community and on the channel. But back then, we didn't know that. We believed most people had our best interest at heart and they were like-minded. Lo and behold, we meet the behemoth, the narcissist, and here we are. Our world is turned upside down. We are changed forever. We now had to put ourselves back together, specifically post-relationship, whether you were discarded or not. The ending of a narcissistic relationship is not a pleasant experience, to say the least. You have to put yourself back together. You have to process childhood wounds. You have to understand that narcissism is prevalent, and perhaps you were in a relationship with one, or certainly a toxic person. And then you have to wrap your head around the fact that that person never cared about you. They didn't then, they don't now, and they never will in the future. Very tough pills to swallow for people, but once you do it and you practice radical acceptance and you understand that you're fortunate to be out of that relationship because you're no longer in it, and you're healing, and you're now in the cocoon of boundaries, you're slowing your life down, you're taking stock of the people you allowed into your life and the people that you won't allow into your life in the future. And then you realize one day that the narcissist can't change. They can't introspect. They don't care about anybody. They just looked at you as a gravy train, as a meal ticket, as someone who would raise the kids, put a roof over the head, pay for vacations, pay for clothes, Amazon, etc. All the things you did, and be the arm candy, be the chauffeur, and all the other things I talk about. And then one day when they had their business lined up and they had the resources all stockpiled, meaning their money, they were squirreling away money, no pun intended. A squirrel just went by in the background. But when they did that and they realized that your health took a hit and you have no money and the kids are of age now so they can help contribute with the business, then it's goodbye, that's it. And the discard takes place. But the narcissist was always looking at people and what they could extract from them. Would it be a beach house in Mexico? Would it be a boat? Would it be a ski trip? Would it be someone's swimming pool? Would it be invited to the cool parties or barbecues in the area? Would it be someone to go into business with and then agree to do A, B, and C, and then you do none of the above and you still reap half of the benefits of the business? And the person that you went into business with is being depleted each and every day because they put their name on the business and they put you 50-50, but you're not lifting a finger to do it. I'm talking about the narcissist. There are so many different illustrations of what the narcissist saw in you. 1 minute, 15-20 minute video can't do it justice, but I will tell you, the narcissist saw something in you. And by now you're probably understanding it was multiple things. It was the way you made them feel, the way you gave them attention, the way you took their abuse, the way you dealt with the gaslighting, the way you dealt with the smear campaign, the way you dealt with triangulation, the way you waited for them, the way you put your life on hold, the way you put them high up on the pedestal, the way you kept your word, the way you kept your vows, the way you were always on time, the way you did the right thing, the way you did not let your empathy slip through the cracks and become somebody toxic. You see, you held your ground. And probably what happened with you is you put up a boundary one day and you said, I can't do this anymore. Something's wrong. Something's off. I didn't sign up for this. And then when the narcissist realized that you were getting a backbone, sorry to say that, but it's how these things work, then they're like, wait, something's wrong here. I can't control them any longer. I need to really jettison this relationship, and I need to really start greasing up the new supply because the new supply is just waiting for me to spend more time with them. But you, the person watching the video, they're now putting up a boundary. I can't have this. And by the way, I got about 80% of the resources and their health is taking a hit and no one's talking to them anymore because I instilled the smear campaign. So I think it may be time to leave this relationship. And then shortly thereafter, boom, you get the Dear John letter or the Dear Jane letter, whatever you want to call it, and the relationship is over. Or maybe you come home to an empty house one day and you figure out, oh my gosh, the narcissist just pillaged everything. They took everything from my house. I hear these stories so frequently, and unfortunately I lived one of those stories, but what I'm sharing with you is the narcissist saw something in you, and they probably saw a lot of things in you. One thing for certain, they looked at you and your abundance and your beautiful, bright, shining light, and they did want to capture that for a period of time, which was the length of the relationship. Now, I know I say that frequently because the narcissist needs an energy source. They need someone to catapult them to the next level, and that was you, and they knew that. And so what they always try to do is they try to level up, get the next person with more money, get the next person who has more assets, get the next person with more empathy, get the next person with more access to the beach house, etc. And this is what they do. That's why they're parasitic. That's why the narcissist has nothing in their core. They're shallow, they're hollow, they are shapeshifters. They're people who just want to take from other people. And they want to take, and when they're done, what do they want to do? That's right, they want to take more, because the narcissist has an insatiable quench for supply and for money and for time and assets and broken relationships. This fuels the narcissist. Now you may say to yourself, how could that fuel the narcissist? Like, who thinks like that? Well, if that crossed your mind a moment ago, it illustrates how different you are than the narcissist. The narcissist is a dark energy source. You are a beautiful, bright, shining light. They were drawn to you like a moth to a flame because back then you didn't have the wisdom. Back then you didn't know about the cycle. Back then you didn't know what narcissism was. But here you are, and you're now understanding. You're learning the glossary, the definitions, the terms. You're understanding what gaslighting is, what blame shifting is. You now know what projection is and mirroring, etc. Or you're learning these terms and you're saying to yourself, wow, that's exactly what I experienced in the relationship, but I couldn't put my finger on it. Exactly, because you weren't supposed to put your finger on it. You were supposed to stay stuck pining for the narcissist, having them live in your mind rent-free. That's what they wanted. And they wanted to keep that door open a crack and not give you closure, so you would not get that needle in a haystack and you would not deduce that that was a narcissist that you were in a relationship with. But that's not what you did. You figured it out. You cracked the code, and here you are. And now you're healing, or you have healed, and you're reaching towards that pinnacle of indifference, or you have reached it. Either way, you're not the same person you were, A, when you entered the relationship, B, when the relationship ended, or C, than you are right now. Because you have to heal from these relationships. The narcissist has nothing to heal from. What they do is they just slither away into the darkness and look for another unsuspecting person or recycled person. Or sometimes they meet their match and they find another toxic person like they are, and they get played. But the one thing is, the narcissist had the best thing in you that they ever will find on the planet, which was you. You are the best thing that ever came across the narcissist's mind. But now that you know what you know, you can't unsee what you can't unsee what you've seen. So you need to go no contact and block these people. And you need to take the lifelong learning lessons from the past, not predict the future. And you need to live in the present moment, the here and the now. This is where the doors of abundance will open up for you. This is when you will reclaim your 24 hours. This is when you will no longer have sleepless nights. This is when you will no longer have toxicity in your life at all. And believe me when I tell you, because I'm living it, every day you are far away from the narcissist, every minute you get stronger and they get weaker. They shrivel up microscopically and they just disappear. And that's how it should be, because you were taken advantage of and you were manipulated and you were tricked and trapped and duped and you were captured in that devaluation stage. It's not a good place to be, but you broke free and now you're healing, or you have healed. So that is why I suggest so frequently to really, really understand that that relationship almost took you down for the count, but it didn't, and here you are. So everyone, that's the video. I hope you liked it. I loved doing it from the beautiful Carolinas. This is Andrew. Namaste. Have a great afternoon, evening, or morning, no matter where you are on the planet. You are not alone. Remember that. You are not alone. And sorry about it. We had a little noise there. I apologize. I'm doing the best I can. I love you all. God bless you, and have a great evening. I will talk to you tomorrow. All right. Remember what I'm sharing with you. What did the narcissist see in you? They saw a huge opportunity, and they saw someone who was a beautiful, bright, shining light, and they really wanted to extinguish it, which is you, but they didn't. So understand, focus on yourself, and continue to move forward each and every day. I believe in you more than you will ever know. And if I made it through, you can make it through too. And if you have, pay it forward. Love you all. God bless you. And I'll talk to you tomorrow. All right. Bye.